All right, and welcome back to the Spring 2018 Creators of the Storm. I am Bahamut, one of your hosts tonight, and with me is Styxa. You ready for this Game 3?
Game 3, best of threes. Who wouldn't like to see a best of 3 go down to the final game? And Towers of Doom, all assassins. Oh boy, we got a ton of damage coming out, a ton of damage that's going to stick, and I'm really interested to see what these teams have. I've already got my favorite hero in mind, so to hopefully, come out a lot of good damage.
I mean, while we're kind of getting ready for this, we're waiting for the rest of the lobby to get set here. If you were playing this, what would be like your hero? Like, who's your guy where you're just like
Chromie?
I guess I should say who's your gal then?
Yeah, Chromie is 110% my go-to pick on Towers of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm playing this map in Hero League, I'm like somewhere near the bottom, Chromie's always my go-to. That's a ton of damage. As I was saying, there's no supports. That's like you're looking at like 1200 damage, chunking, right? I mean, Vala is gonna get O-code. Like you're looking for like squishies, they're done, right? So in my personal opinion, Chromie has a high place in my heart here. So that's my personal opinion, though. There's a couple other heroes that I think are just overall good. Genji's going to be great. I mean, you've got Poke, you've got immunity. There's not a lot of assassins with crowd control, right? So other than a couple of heroics like Reign of Vengeance, or if you're looking more at like Alarak, just silencing and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say you're looking for Poke and beefy assassins, Thrall, stuff like that.
And just to clarify also, so that the Twitch chat does know, because I'm seeing it in chat as well, it's all assassins defined by Blizzard, and variant is excluded. So no multi-class. That is something just so that chat does know what kind of the stipulations are. We do have a full draft. This is a full draft, so we have ban phase and everything. Mm-hmm. The other thing to note on top of the Chromie is there's no cleanse. There's no cleanse for time. There's no cleanse. So if you can temporal combo, GG. Just wait till level 7 essentially.
Yeah, you're level 8. Yeah, really is where you're getting that talent there, and then you're just you're taking it home. You're taking it home. I want to see a Chromie pick here, and if I don't see, I would. Banning it out is fine by me too, but I'd love to see some Chromie play. One of my personal favorites, but I think Li Ming does the job just as fine. Resets are huge because, again, it's all damage that's going to stick. As I said, Genji as well. Alarak has damage immunity, big combos. Silencing is huge. It's like a pseudo stun, effectively. Yeah, there's a couple of hero picks. Hanzo, though, great ban here, I think. Just a lot of poke damage.
I like what they're doing, though, because they're banning out the Hanzo, forcing Geeks of Ganks to go ahead and ban out that Maya. They're like, do you want to deal with it? Because we just took out Hanzo because we just don't want to deal with your Hanzo again. But
yeah,
and I'm not surprised. I mean, that was a lot of setup. So many good dragon arrows that just got a phenomenal 2-3 man stuns, and they just followed up into that. But first pick wise, I mean, I wonder if they just go for Greymane here. He's a phenomenal assassin. He offers so much to a team, and I mean, we see him as such a high priority in pick rate, but there's a reason, because he's just versatile. And as an assassin, that's a wonderful to have in your kit.
Yeah, you're going to be able to take camps, you're going to be able to team fight, you're going to be able to poke, you're going to be able to engage, you're going to be able to eliminate, go for the throat. I think Greybane's just an overall amazing pick here. Genji it is.
I mean, the Genji, the mobility that he offers on a map like this is huge. I mean, he does have a phenomenal poke. The reset that you can get from him can be big, and especially in an all-assassin game, getting, those dash resets and just dashing in and just getting that little bit of health that usually you get away with, that's huge for the team. So I really, really like how they're playing this on the side of Trollin Blizz.
Yeah, so I remember a little bit earlier on today, we did do an all-assassin game here in this Creators of the Storm. tournament, and heroes like Lunara and Gul'dan were chosen. Lunara damage is going to be massive if we have a Lunara pick. That's damage that is, damage over time. A lot of these heroes don't get sustain. Thrall, however, does. But that's poison damage over time that's going to stick, and it's going to be impactful. So I'd like to see a Lunara pick as well.
How do you feel in these next two slots? Looking at this draft, you go, all right, Lunara, typically the poison is really annoying for Genji, but what about a Malthael? Solo lane strong, more damage over time. Even then, doesn't have to be Malthael. What if you go Gul'dan? We got Malthael. That is true. So they do have a strong solo lane, but Li Ming for that double reset composition, I really, really like this.
Yeah, Li Ming doesn't surprise me. As I was saying, Li Ming kind of fills that role of Chromie as well. You've got the poke. Mind you, it can get blocked a lot, far more easily. But it's poke damage, it's resets that, go with Genji. You're looking to just reset, just kind of pop off. Malthael will give you that solo laner who does well in team fights. Last Rites is going to get a ton of value, I imagine. If you're able to get those kills here and there, just reduce the cooldown. I think, 5 seconds every time you get an elimination up to, 10 times? So you're looking at 50 seconds on top of the 65-second cooldown it is. You're reducing it down to 15 seconds. You're looking to just kind of hey, guess what? You're dead. 15 seconds later, hey, guess what? You're dead.
The nice thing too is the way that they, in this new change, that they made it so it's a little bit better. You don't have to last hit, essentially. You don't have to, you don't have to Asmodan dunk kill it instantly. Well, that one they changed it a long time ago to point something seconds, and I was like, this is unplayable. And then they changed it back, and I'm like, I still don't take this talent. And so it's one of those things. I'm glad that they added, I think it was 1.5 seconds or something like that. So with the Genji and the Li Ming, that's going to be huge, and I really like their draft so far. But as we kind of mentioned before, and we were talking a little bit about it, Lunara being really strong here, actually going to be banned out by Geeks and Ganks.
I think this is a perfectly good ban. I think it, you don't want to play against it. You have sustain in the form of Thrall. Thrall is like your pseudo tank right now, right? So you're looking at kind of getting rid of that damage over time that's going to hinder. You have slows in the form of Lunara. I think it's an acceptable ban. If you don't want to play Lunara, yeah, get rid of it. There's no reason to leave it as an opportunity for the opposing team. And slows into a Genji being able to chase you, or a Li Ming orb coming at you and you're trying to get away but you can't because you're slowed. Lunara, great ban. Gul'dan, effectively the same. You do see Gul'dans with some pretty inflated numbers, and that's all thanks to damage over time. You get one good corruption, you're missing half of your health all of a sudden.
I really, really like the bans and picks so far. How do you follow this up? So Thrall will probably be the solo laner. Zeratul will roam, trying to get some of that backline into the Li Ming, maybe into that Genji a little bit. You kind of need, and this is a weird thing to say, but you need a front line of assassins, and that doesn't add anything to it. I do really like the Junkrat though. That is a phenomenal pickup. A lot of good poke damage from him, and Raynor's just a good slot too. Good range. Hyperion's great for zoning, and you've also got the Raynor's Raiders, which is also really good for getting into those backline. Li Ming, Raynor's Raiders on Li Ming is a nuisance, but Ragnaros and something else being picked up here. What do you think?
I was actually going to suggest Ragnaros being picked up here by the side of Geeks and Ganks, but instead they opt to pick those two heroes. This is a melee that'll go in with Malthael and, kind of help that out. Whether or not we'll see another melee here, I'm unsure.
I'm trying to think if maybe, because I like the idea of, Li Ming poking from the back. Maybe they get something in the mid-range. Ooh, I wonder if they actually go into a Cassia. That'd be kind of nice in between their ranges. It'd offer them a blind. Granted, albeit, they'd have to dive in a little bit, but that would still work with the Malthael's dive, the Genji's dive. I think that would be kind of cool for them, but we'll see as this last pick comes through. It is the Illidan, and I was not prepared.
I was going to say, they're missing an auto attacker, really. I mean, Malthael, a lot of his damage is going to come from his trait and from his Q. Genji's going to get a lot of his damage from his dash. Li Ming's obviously a mage. Rag, you're going to see meatballs going out every now and then. They're missing an auto attacker. Illidan, perfect. dodges Rainer's attacks. You know, you've got that dodge. You've got excellent chase for things like Junkrat, Thrall, Zeratul. You can stick onto a target. I think this is a pretty decent pick. You have self-sustain and auto attacks. We've seen some pretty crazy Illidan plays, you know, back when Illidan was OP, but rounding it all up, we have another mage in the form of Kael'thas. I am not sure how I feel about the super squishy backline because Illidan grabs Hunt, and it's just a mess.
Now, well, one thing I'm curious is, though, Pyroblast. Pyroblast in this kind of game is such a nuisance. And then you've also got Riptire to follow that up. You've got Rainer's Raiders. You've got probably... Ooh, do we get a Sunder and Earthquake is the question, because both kind of, I can see both working out very well. I think this is a nice matchup between these two teams. Like, and we are going into a 1-to-1 matchup. So I got to say, this is kind of very fitting. Like, all assassins, you leave it all on the floor, this match between these two teams, and we're going to find out who's going to be going into the finals between Geeks of Gank and Trollin Blizz.
You said Pyroblast there, but I'm looking at the opposing team. Illidan has an evasion. Li Ming has Spell Shield. Malthael, not so much. Genji has 2 methods of evasion, and Ragnaros has a method of evasion as well. So maybe not the best. I'll get into it a little bit more.
I want to see someone get blown up here as we are getting into this. Geeks of Ganks on the left-hand side. We are going to have Scott on that Zeratul, Sleepy Gary on the Kael'thas, Tarly going to be on the Junkrat, Fringe Average on that Rainer, and Bacon will round it out on the Thrall.
And then over on the right-hand side in the red, we have Trollin Blizz. We've got Mystic Shroud playing the Malthael, Bags playing Ragnaros, Alebeard on that Li Ming, Rosai on the Genji, and then we have Guaz on the Illidan. And what are we seeing? We're seeing a 3v5 in the mid lane right away. Just sending the assassins off to soak the lanes. I think this is just a safe play. You're not really looking for team fights here, right? This is all damage that's going to stick. You just want to soak it, get your talent advantages, and then go to town.
This is a big matchup right now because I really like how they're dedicating 5, and if they could take that fight, that'd be big for them. But now that Kael'thas is in bottom and kind of being seen, they put Genji down here, and I'm curious to see if they actually are able to get the dive. Malthael will be out here as well, but they don't see the Zeratul, who just came into the bush with them, scouted them out, and they're just like, Sleepy Gary's like, oh, I'm going to play this a little bit safer, closer to the gates.
Yeah, walks in, says, oh, hi, cues him, disappears. Just a little bit of a disappearing act there, but they're looking to apply a bit of damage here. You see Bacon just running all Hambone right in, and he's down to half health, but luckily, you know, he has that sustain. But he's going to remain down in that bottom lane with Sleepy Gary for a bit until, I guess, a little bit of a rotation now. But they're looking to get that root onto Rosai, but he will be able to dash away. He's going to Hearth here rather than using his tap, which I think is a perfectly acceptable play. And, you know, heal up and make his way back to join the team. But Rainer tanking an orb from Li Ming there, and that's a lot of damage.
We actually have Ragnaros getting caught out here by Scott a little bit. Going to be taking quite a bit of damage. Bags is trying to get out of here as Alebeard does get some damage out, and actually the dive in from Genji does confirm the kill onto the Zeratul, so that will be the first kill of the game going over to Trollin Blizz, and they want to set a precedent.
Yeah, Rosai, big dash in. Great body blocks, though, from Zeratul onto Rag there. You know, almost not being able to get away, but unfortunately, Li Ming orb coming in and just absolutely decimating him, and then getting finished off by the Genji. Great heads-up play there by Genji to get that kill. First blood, and Shrine should be coming up very shortly, but it secured them level 4 before the enemy. Not too big of a deal, as level 4 is now being reached by the side of Geeks and Ganks. Of Gank, rather.
And it looks like they're actually kind of posturing up a little bit for this Rainer, who is a little bit low. We do have the Illidan just kind of prepared, but he's playing safe by his gate. Doesn't want to be losing his life just yet, because the altars are going to be spawning here. The other nice thing too is having this Kael'thas for the wave clear is phenomenal. And I was actually just peeking over at Twitch chat, and they were just like, "Oh, Cassia for the blinds on Illidan." I'm like, yes, but this is actually what I really like about this Kael'thas right here, is that they actually can keep him in the bottom, and they can't feed into this bottom gate. And holding bottom lane on Towers of Doom is so important, because you can feed in technically if you control this lane and the camps, you can feed 6 shots consistently in, rotate for the altars, you get that extra 5th shot. A lot of good value comes out of that, but Sleepy Gary going ahead and just kind of delaying this out. But with the double channel here, this might be a little risky as the members are diving out onto him, and he will be falling.
Yeah, that's just suicide. It is, you know, kind of worth to stall, but you see you could see, I believe, at least 2 members on the shrine there in the form of Malthael and Li Ming, and you know Illidan was kind of close by, so walking in 1v3, not necessarily the best of ideas here. It's gonna fall. It's gonna not only grant a kill, but also the shrine. Puts his team behind a little bit more, as now Zeratul going into the Li Ming, a little bit of extra poke damage here, taking her down to about half health, and now trying to deal the the Malthael, but Jimmy popping in for a little bit of extra poke damage to try to help the team.
They're going to go ahead and just make these rotations. The bell towers did go in favor for the members of Geeks, a Gank there. Or excuse me, for Troll and Blizz there. Got it backwards. And overall, they're going to be rotating around, getting camps, just trying to create some pressure here and just get closer to those 10s. Now, 7s have been achieved for the members of Troll and Blizz. They can play this a little aggressive if they want. There is a bit of a gap, but at this time, we're just going to see them play this safe and just go for that soak for 10.
Yeah, you see that siege camp there, the sappers being captured, but now you've got Mystic getting caught out in the bottom lane by Bacon, and Scott and Gary just right around the corner just in case to secure that kill. He does go down, but we're going to see Li Ming pick up the Rainer as well in that middle lane, I believe. So 1 for 1, pretty even here, but they're not going to be able to defend the sappers, I do believe, as they indeed charge into the wall here. I imagine we'll be seeing Troll and Blizz look to grab their siege camp here after trying to defend these 3 members pushing into the bottom lane.
And so far, for their setup, Geeks the Gank has opened up this bottom lane a little bit for themselves. So the chase potential is a little bit more open. It you know, as they have this, it allows Scott to kind of chase a little bit deeper, maybe get one of those kills that is a little bit low, getting behind the gate. But we are going to be having the altars spawn at this time. And the other thing to note at the exact same time is boss is available. So if, you know, we get a team wipe here, look to see them hard rotate top for that boss.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a walk away, so it might be a little bit hard, but a great knockback there by the Rainer onto the Illidan to try and deny that engage. But unfortunately, will be Zeratul falling to the Genji here, as Illidan still quite low, looking to potentially get a tap here, as we do see the Ragnaros go out for that Molten Core, just absolutely chunking the Junkrat, as Genji now dives in, has to force to pop that Protect there, and Guaz getting interrupted by the Thrall Crash Lightning coming in, and Ragnaros still looking for the interrupt. Ooh, does get it. Genji dashing in. Rainer not successful in getting the final kill, and a lot of Troll and Blizz will walk away with low health bars.
And that's actually a nice pickup for them. They, on the side of Troll and Blizz, like getting another one of those altars, utilizing that rag for the zoning was huge for them. They couldn't get in. Bacon was trying to get that poke with the chain lightning there, as you pointed out, but unfortunately, just it wasn't enough. And at this time, and we do have, once again, the teams are kind of posturing up here a little bit in top, maybe going for that extra pick. If they can get it, this will push them into that 10 range. Now, at the same time, Troll and Blizz, they want to play this a little slow because of the fact that if, you know, maybe if they get counter-picked, that would be really in favor for the members of Geeks and Gangs, and then, you know, they'll be, you know, switching over and holding over that heroic ability and just, you know, diving onto them with those at the next altar phase.
Yeah, level 10 now being reached, as this will mean some heroics coming out. We do have the Hunt, which is interesting to point out. So they'll be looking to get some big kills, probably here on Rainer, on the squishy of the squishies. Rainer and Kael'thas and Junkrat will be the primary targets, I imagine, or, you know, whoever's low, looking to hunt in Disintegrate just for that extra pickup. Last rites, as expected, Dragon Blade, big damage, and Lava Wave coming out. Just try and clear up the lanes here. Just keep them ahead in the soak. The Hunt comes out onto the Zeratul. Dragon Blade also being popped. Last rites as well. That's one stack. But the Dragon Blade just wailing away as Sleepy Carry tanks a ton of damage from that Genji. Will be able to get behind his gates and survive to tell another tale. But Rosai looking to try and tap. And Troll and Blizz grabbing their camp here as the shrines do pop up any second now.
So they're going to go ahead and grab this camp. This will be a nice little bit about bottom lane pressure. They get right onto the altar, but they're trying to delay this out. And this is the one thing that I really like about the Junkrat here is he does have such a good poke here. And it's also with the time bombs is quite annoying. The other thing, too, is they're trying to get in here, but they waiting for their Zeratul. As we do get the Hyperion is going to be coming out. They're going to utilize that as a zoning tool. We do have a bit of damage trying to poke out from Alebeard. It won't connect as they do get the flank onto the Raynor, and it looks like Earthquake will be coming out as well, but they get the Raynor very early. We also have the Illidan falling as well. They tried to Pyroblast him there, but it is currently on cooldown. We also have, there's still the Earthquake just kind of reverberating. I do believe it is ending now as we have the Genji taking a little bit of damage from Scott. He's going to go back in, but there is a protect, and he gets right over that wall. But Malthael trying to come in here. Pyroblast is there. We also have Blast right, so that is going to be a trade on Zeratul and Malthael.
I love watching people just like a death timer on them, and then they're just like, hey, peace out, man. You know, it was nice knowing ya. And down go the Zeratul and the Malthael. They're going to trade 1-for-1 there. A ton of damage coming out, but we see Li Ming very low on mana, and if there's anything a mage needs, it's definitely mana to try and get any kind of value. We see that short-range hunt come out onto the Raynor here as Illidan pops that dodge, looks to try and avoid as much damage as possible, does take that living bomb, tries not to spread it over to the team, and now they're looking to just try and whittle down the health bars as the Zeratul trying to come back in here now. Big Dragon Blade looking for the Genji onto the Junkrat. No success, ends up falling here, and now debating the Illidan, and he'll get a great friendly dive there, but they do fall. They pick up the Junkrat here, but most importantly, they stalled for the team, allowing them to grab that middle shrine, but they're gonna end up losing Shroud here as well.
So they get a couple of those picks. The experience advantage is starting to kind of level out here. We currently just have that level difference. That was big for them, but at the same time, you know, getting that Junkrat was also, it was a nice way to kind of slow the pace of that fight. They really just kind of were like, all right, we'll pump the brakes on this. They ended up losing those members, and Malthael actually turning around towards that end there. I'm wondering if maybe he might have had the ability to get out. Not too sure, but it looks like at this time they do defend this bottom fort from being converted, as Ragnaros will go ahead and pick up the camp in the top lane.
Yeah, great play there on that fight there in the bottom lane. Malthael unfortunately dying near the end, but Ragnaros grabbing that camp, going to apply a little bit of pressure. Hopefully for the side of Geeks of Ganks, they're going to be able to clear that out without losing too much. But there's a lot of pressure in this bottom lane now, but they've got 3 members here cleaning it up. Sappers aren't going to get too far. Actually, they're going to fall before they even get halfway through the map. And now Thrall walking into a 1v4. No roots or CC here, which is pretty big to point out. So that's something that Geeks of Gank do have. They have a stun and a root and a couple other stuns and slows that, you know, that can grant them some good combo potential here, but not going to be the case as they kind of position up into the boss as Junkrat gets a little bit of poke damage onto that front line, if you could say front line, but Illidan walking into the trap, gonna take a ton of damage from that Junkrat, I believe, and now Thrall barely making it away. Down goes the Zeratul and the Malthael. Hyperion coming out for a little bit of zoning as the shrines do pop up. This will allow Thrall to cap the left side respectively, but in comes the Dragon Blade protected coming out as well. Looking to dive on to the Kale Thos. Genji dashing overboard, will end up falling. Maybe the turnaround onto the Thrall. Li Ming able to connect, does get that kill. We'll be trading 3-for-3 here, and I believe each team grabbing their respective bell towers and applying another 4 shots to the opposing team.
After a huge fight, I absolutely love that. So after an entirely huge fight, they go back and forth. Our buttons are pushed. Deaths go back and forth. You know, all of this, and they just grab their own altars. Like, no, they don't get any sort of like really big advantage from it. It's just mostly a couple kills. The levels are still just about half a level difference still. And I mean, once they get to 16s though, this next altar might be a little bit more difficult for the members of Geeks of Gank, mostly because of the fact that they will be down that talent tier, and it is going to be another triple phase. So I'm curious to see how they're going to try and split their assets. If they go for all of them, do they just maybe take one and just play it safe? We'll see as we get a little further into this game.
Yeah, I'm hoping level 16 comes around before the next altar phase. Whether or not they'll be able to successfully obtain that, who knows? If they don't have 16, they're gonna have to play it extremely safe. Maybe just get the bottom one and give the 2 tops. You're gonna be looking to them to try and avoid a fight here. And, you know, they're not going to get 16, I don't think, before. Maybe a pick here onto the Genji, but it doesn't look like that will be the case, as we have 4 members in the bottom for both teams here. But it looks like we're going to see Geeks of Gank move up to the top lane and try and secure their left side instead. Trading a 2-for-1 here. Not level 16, very close, however. Maybe they get it and they start a fight, looking for maybe a pick.
So far at this point, they're giving over bottom. Illidan does have the right side. Bacon will go ahead and just kind of stall this out as best as he can. The rest of the team, though, will be rotating quick, so Bacon shouldn't be too far out. Sleepy Gary is here as well. They're going to try and delay this as best as they can, and they start the dive in as well. Sleepy Gary taking a little bit of damage. They force the Illidan off. Junkrat going to get a bunch of assets on the map right now just to make sure you can just try and kind of be a nuisance to force some of these odder rotations from the enemy team. Overall, though, it looks like both altars were picked up by each team. I think left side was picked up by Geeks of Gank, bottom was by Trollin Blizz. And so at this point, this is going to be the last fight that we're going to be getting, and ooh, we get the double kill.
Yeah, Genji going in on the back line onto that Kayle Thos. Zeratul falling a little bit earlier. And now you see Kayle Thos. I think I mentioned Kayle Thos dying there. Sorry, Li Ming falling. Out comes the hunt onto the Junkrat. Watch out for those bombs. Illidan barely getting away, but Bacon gonna end up falling there. And now Genji looking to dive in on to that Jimmy as Illidan tanking a couple of the forts. But they're gonna pick up 4 kills. Jimmy the lone survivor. And I believe Trollin Blizz grabs their temple there as well. Not only after picking up those 4 kills. At 4-for-1, and the boss, they're looking at, what, was that 16? No, not 16, 12 shots, rather, onto the opposing team's core. They're looking pretty here, I believe. I don't actually know if they got that one, though.
They got the right-hand side, and they got the bottom one, I do believe. Or
okay.
I guess the mid-lane one, if you will. Yeah. But this is the kind of the point where if they get a little bit of pressure, maybe they take that bottom left keep, it becomes a situation where it's kind of a do or die. You have to take every fight, and we're kind of getting there as 16s are achieved on the side of Geeks of Gank. They poke into this camp, trying just to delay this out, get some vision on their team, slow them down. They also have their own pushing in this lane, so they want to try and get some pressure themselves. Once they can maybe turn this game around and start to get some advantage on the map, that might be big for them, as Bags takes quite a bit of damage in this fight. There is the Riptide that does come out from the Junkrat. They're trying to kind of get this down. It is utilized, but the Protect is there, and they realistically don't get a whole lot of value besides burning a cooldown. Really
heads up play there by Mystic. I believe he did pick up the spell shield. So yeah, it's Shroud of Wisdom picking out there. Mystic Shroud with that Shroud of Wisdom. Just really heads up play. He saw that Junkrat tire come out, pops that cooldown. He negated a ton of damage. 50% of that Junkrat tire. 50 spell armor, 50% of that spell damage being negated here. That's a lot less of a cooldown for the Junkrat tire. But out comes this Molten Core onto that bottom keep. Out comes the hunt, though, onto Jimmy. Getting body blocked here by the Thrall as well. Genji looking to dive in on that back line. He's going in hard with that Dragon Blade. Looking to pick up 2 heroes here and then dive back in. Out comes the Lava Wave as well. And Genji, does he have the dash, the dive, the dips, the doodles? He does not. Unfortunately, will allow the Bacon to get away as now Scott is being chased. Out comes the last rites. Will not be enough. They're going to be able to pick up 2 kills and this shrine, though, which now opens boss or 4 sappers into that bottom lane. And for a win, this could be it here. We got 24-4, but as I said, this map has numerous amounts of possibilities that can happen here. This is anybody's game still.
I gotta say, they played that a little aggressive, in my opinion. So what happened is, I watched it on the minimap that Zeratul was rotating right next to the Illidan, and Illidan actually went for the hunt in onto I think Bacon, which I think at that point still got away, and he left that one shrine which Zeratul was at, went ahead and picked it up, because I was like, wait, where's the other altar? They got this huge fight, and they don't get to end the game. So that little bit of a dive onto that member cost them potentially ending the game. But as you said, boss is available, and if they can get a little bit of they can get some sappers through here. But Illidan excuse me, Zeratul going to be killed by the last rights there.
How many? We have 5 last right stacks. So already 50% done that quest. So what is it? 5 seconds. We're looking at
25, I do believe.
Last rights just completed on my screen. That might be a bug. I don't know.
Completed for me too.
Oh.
I do believe so.
So maybe the level 20 pickup completes it. I don't know how that interacts. But regardless, we're gonna see that that cooldown and the big heals coming off from that. Now without a healer, that's a pretty big heal. But out comes 2 more shrines up in the top lane. You're gonna see the side of Trollin Blizz back. This is a great heads-up play here. You know you don't have a healer. Globes are not going to be enough. For the most part, your team doesn't have the sustain that you're really looking for. They're going to play it safe. They're going to walk up this. This is a do-or-die situation for Geeks of Gank. They're going to be looking for the poke. Junkrat poke coming in. Great body blocks, though, from Genji. Will the bomb hit? No, it's not going to. And the Hyperion will not be in time. The core will go down before the Junkrat bomb gets to explode. Rip Tire is a nope tire today.
I gotta say, I was watching that Hyperion, and just the edge of that Hyperion, I was like, are you gonna get it? No, you did not, unfortunately.
I thought the bomb was gonna hit.
It was, I was like, I was watching every little thing, and I'm like, oh my god, no one's gonna be able to get the Li Ming. They went for their own, which was great, but I think they should have just hard pressed the enemy team, and it's like, you either get them in a fight, and then you go back and get yours, or you lose the fight, and I think that was, as you said, it's a do or die situation. They got that Li Ming just snuck it so perfectly, and they end up taking that game. So that's a huge play.
Honestly, very heads up play there by Genji. Rosai just body blocking those Junkrat shots, popping that protected, just interrupting as many of those pot shots as possible. Ends up paying off, and Junkrat ever so close to interrupting that Li Ming. Just a little bit up to the left would have interrupted it, but it looks like we're going to be tossing these captains in. I see Bags there. Oh, he's overwhelmed with a big victory there.
Stressful, handshaking.
Yeah, it's a great game. You guys did exceptional. Man, what was going through your mind for that last game? I can't even think of anything here. Just like you're saying, it's stressful now. Like, how do you feel about this victory?
It was intense. Like, until we capped that last altar, it was just like, at least personally for me, it just didn't feel like it was never in the bag until it literally their altars were at 0. Like their core was at 0. I know going through that draft, like Guaz and Alebeard prefer mages, and we just saw like Scott had the Zeratul, and we were like, we can't. Like, that's our crutch, and that's what we want to lean on, but we can't. We have to really. It was like really hard to fight that urge to go and play squishies, because we knew we needed to play characters that were a little beefier. I
gotta say, those are some phenomenal games, but let's go like all the way back to game 1. Like, let's talk about that all support game. Because you guys, I gotta say, because it was so interesting to see the juxtaposition between game 1 and game 2, where you guys came out hitting so hard with your all support comp, and you guys really just played it so well. But then in game 2, it was almost like everything got flipped. I mean, can you guys talk about like I guess like the team synergy between those two games? Did you guys feel off in the game 2? Like, it was so much more in favor for Geeks of Ganks, and then game 1 it felt very in favor of Trollin Blizz?
Unfortunately, we mentioned it in draft, but we decided to push forward with it anyways. So drafting Sylvanas and Varian is kind of counterintuitive, because Varian's a late game hero and Sylvanas is a very early game hero, and you need to snowball with her, and Varian makes that very hard to enable her. So that was kind of a mistake, and we felt confident if we had won the first or second Immortal, we could have parlayed that into a victory. But after losing the second Immortal, it was like, I don't want to say we tilted, but we kind of lost the communication that we had in the first game. So it felt like throughout this tournament so far, the teams had really good comms. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of like, that was the big flip flop there. It was we poorly drafted in the second game, and it just
came to bite you in the butt.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so I'm also here.
Oh yeah, sorry. My question was geared at both of you. Like I wanted to actually hear yours.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was geared towards both of you guys. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't forget you. Don't worry.
No, I kind of joined the conversation late, so that's what it was.
So mostly just my question was geared towards the whole game one felt very dominating by Troll and Blizz, and you guys came out in game two on Battlefield of Eternity so very strong. Bags had explained his side of like the comms and all that. Can you explain it for your team as well? In situations like that, how do you look at the draft? How do you kind of bounce back from those situations?
Yeah, for game one, we pretty much drafted almost what we wanted, but the execution wasn't there. Some people got caught, like myself, towards the late game. That turned into 5v4 situations. So we were pretty confident going in, but the draft that Bags created, and it was kill somebody within that 1 second or 2 second stun window, and they were able to pull it off multiple times.
Oh god,
like,
yeah.
Popping Tassadar like randomly out of nowhere.
And, that's terrifying, honestly. It was kind of scary to see you guys rotate and just like pop. Okay, you're off the map.
Yeah, we didn't really expect that going into it. So we thought going into level 20, Alex Straza sustain will win us the game, and 5v5 with Alex Straza. But by the time we hit 20, or we might have not even hit 20, like they outscaled us and outpushed us. And game two, we pretty much got all our comfort picks for the most part. Yeah.
You guys, I gotta say, you guys shredded in game two.
My Hanzo was confident. I thought we could burn Immortals properly, and yeah, that's what it was.
I'm sure chat is really wondering, what made you justify that Stitches was a variable, like an actual horde pick here? Because I didn't really care, but chat was wondering probably.
In the Undercity, there's abominations everywhere as guards. They're part of the horde.
There you go.
There you go, chat.
If you go to Undercity, which is an undead city, part of the horde, and on the elevator ride down, the first two guards you see are abominations, which are what Stitches is.
Okay.
There's your lore for the day, right there.
Because I know that Stitches were like Stitches is itself is like part of the Scourge, and then people were saying there's the Scourge, the Alliance, the Horde, and then the neutral. So I don't know. I don't play WoW, so
the whole undead thing is kind of dips their toe in both the bad guys and the horde, because Sylvanas is an undead.
Mm-hmm.
The whole undead faction thing. That's what it was.
All right. Well, there you go.
So, and then just real quick, before we let you guys go, any shout outs you want to give?
Just a big shout out to the Geeks of Gank for the great games we just had. That was a very intense best of 3.
Yeah. Nice job.
I was super concerned because Bacon and Scott are both master and grandmaster level players.
Ooh.
And that's very intimidating when you're just the silver level pleb going into that. So great games, guys, and looking forward to the next time we get to do this.
Bacon, any?
Okay. Since it's my last time on the stream, I guess, thank you everybody on Trolls GG and you guys, the casters, for doing this. It's a lot of work. Great games. The trolling guys, you guys drafted well and played well. I'll get you guys next year, whenever it is. Also, please, if you guys are interested in the Gamepush Squad podcast, please check that out at gamepushsquad.com. We're a 5-man podcast team made up of all different play levels from silver to XGM. I'll quote unquote say that, right? And we try to talk about the meta of the game and strategies based on all the different points of views from those play levels. So, they're Gazlo is viable in silver, but not really masters. Those kinds of conversations.
Awesome.
I will say it's a very entertaining podcast. So.
Oh, it is but it is also very explicit. A lot of cursing. So I will say that now. Yeah, keep that in mind.
18
a lot
plus.
of wiener. A lot of wiener jokes.
Hey, this is PG-13. Come on now.
Production, we need bleeps.
Yeah, we need bleeps, production. No,
Just want
but
to say,
thank you guys.
Blizzard, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask Blizzard to sponsor the podcast.
There you
Oh,
go.
boy. Alrighty, well.
Thank you guys so much for the interview. It was a phenomenal series, and I can't wait to catch the next one.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So we're going to go on a 5-minute break here. But before we do go on a 5-minute break, we're going to do one more giveaway here for you guys. Lunar Festival chests this time around. Yes, Lunar Festival chests. Some great skins in there. Some excellent skins in there, if I do say so myself. Hashtag Geeks got trolled. All one word. It is a great one. The production is coming out with some great, some great names they got here. But
Liquid, you're killing it. Whoever's doing it is killing it.
Hashtag Geeks got trolled. Lunar Festival chests in the chat. We'll be back with you guys